We'll go with that.
I know you're younger than I am, so I can't say much.
Do I need to go home and put my boots on?
Wes might have me by. You were pretty close.
I'll be 72 next month.
Oh, you got me by a couple.
Funny how that creeps up on you.
Yeah.
And I looked away for a while, and then when I came back, I saw my old cronies from Wakanda, Ginger and Tori and those guys. And then that realization that, yeah.
They got old.
We couldn't get old.
Yeah, I saw a high school reunion photo recently and I was shocked. Old ladies, all of them.
I know it.
I'm continually surprised that people my age are old.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jerry, did you ever? Haven't heard before.
Yeah.
Haven't seen no bitter. His niece is in there. Try having tough against that. The superintendent, he passed away, right?
Really? You know, I hadn't seen him in church in a long time.
He, last time I saw him at the grocery store in Beersford, he used a shopping cart to get in and out.
Where was he living now?
You know where the four-way stop is on 46?
Yeah.
You go north, the last house on the right, there's an old schoolhouse there. The ball diamonds are up there, he was last house on the east side of the road.
So he had moved up there.
Huh?
He had moved up there.
Oh, he lived there.
Oh, really?
You know, he had a house over here
Really?
while he was working here, and then he'd go home on the weekends.
I didn't know that.
You ready for it?
Yeah, whenever you are.
I've got 9 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag
of the United States,
for which it
stands
stands,
one
one
nation,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mochler,
Here.
Packard,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Manning,
Here.
Hammond.
Here,
Any conflict of interest declarations? Hearing none. Approve agenda with the added diesel quotes for the Vermillion Shop.
So move. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Hammond,
yes,
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes.
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Approve minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Hammond,
yes,
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes.
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Are there any visitors to be heard? Hearing none. Lauren?
Okay, I'm just here to present my quarterly report today. You guys should have this sheet in your packet. It's been since October, I believe, since I was here last, so some fall things going on. We had recognition event, trunk or treat. I think there was over 750 kids that came through and saw our booth, so that was really good. Other than that, we've just been doing a lot of summer planning. 2 private applicator tests were proctored this quarter at the extension office, and that will probably pick up this spring as they get to having jobs for the summer that will need spraying. And I also wanted to update you that in March, Raven will be going on maternity leave. So we've been doing some planning and setting dates for that. And then since I was here in October, you guys already approved the bill, but the work got done for the extension office from that termite damage. And so Raven's office and the back conference room, and they look really nice. He said that there is evidence that there were termites in the walls going into my office and also into Missy's office, but I guess not to the point that he recommended that we fix it like when he was there. this time. So that is something that maybe we want to consider doing every year, taking off the paneling, redoing the insulation and the sheetrock each year. I don't know. Hopefully the treatment that Benson's came and did this summer will last us. I also have this to give to you guys. It is the county impact snapshot. This should be in your packet as well, but if you would like a physical copy, I can give you one. This is something that the state 4-H office put together this year and each county is doing. So you can see each of them have 4 different categories. We have workforce development, life skill development, social skill, and leadership. And we are highlighting each year, we'll be highlighting one activity or program that fits into each category. And I think this is going to be something really good to be able to look back on and see what we've been doing. It's just like the top 4 highlights of the program for the year. And also I'm excited to use it to send out to stakeholders or potential sponsors. I think this will be really nice to give them.
What are our outreach members?
Outreach members is like anybody that I would have came into contact with, like at the library, for example. Yep.
Okay.
So this year, because this is 2020 to 2021, all those numbers are affected by COVID because I wasn't able to go into the schools and the library as much. Yep.
Has your members stayed about the same? I mean, the enrolled members?
I think we were down a little bit this last year, but I think for this year we'll be closer back up to normal. We
Okay.
did see a lot of our fair numbers were impacted last year by COVID. People were just choosing not to
Not,
bring exhibits. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
okay. Well, I like your pictures. It's normal.
Yes,
They're cool.
that's all I've got for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Resolution for weight limit.
That 10 of the year.
Everything look like normal? Okay, I'll move to have the chairman sign it.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes,
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes.
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Set date for material bid openings.
Can we get it in the paper twice and open them on the 28th? Or do we have to-
Rod, your microphone.
So
Morning, Phyllis.
Good morning.
the last meeting in February is 22nd.
22nd.
So we wouldn't be able
So
to,
March, the first meeting
Well-
in March, or
it'd be super close. I mean, we could,
the next, it doesn't, the next meeting after that, second meeting in March,
Let's just set it for the 8th. Be done.
okay.
that's 8th of March.
Yep.
I mean, we could do the 1st of March even, that would be okay.
Well, does that give it time to get it advertised and give them a chance
Yeah.
to get it?
It'll definitely give us plenty of time, but
Yeah, we
It's
could do
her-
that. I mean, to do it by the 22nd, it would be awfully close, but the
Okay.
1st would be okay.
so the 1st of March then,
That'd probably be better, because then we can finalize it on the 8th.
okay. So we want to have them in by 9:30 on the 1st, or
We'll probably open them at 9:30, won't we?
Yeah.
open them on 9:30, okay. That will work.
So we need a motion to set March 1st for bid openings at 9:30.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Packard.
Yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Declare scrap iron and scrap aluminum signs for surplus.
Yeah, we do that every year and I usually only get one quote, excuse me. And I got it from Yankton Metals, but it's only good for 24 hours. That's so volatile, but at the time he sent me this, the 4th of January. Unprepared was $160 a ton, prepared was $190, and aluminum signs were 50 cents a pound, so. I'm sure it go up and down since then.
That's a pretty good price.
Yeah, it is. It was pretty low last year.
Yeah.
Gone is worth a lot too.
Yeah.
Just having it out of your way.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
flat tires. Yes,
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
second,
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Packard.
yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Propane quotes for Wakanda and the Vermillion shops. It looks like Butch's propane at $1.69.9 is low bid.
Move to accept Butch's propane bid of $1.69.9.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond.
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Packard.
yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Diesel quotes for the Wakanda shop, 50/50 blend. Didn't we do this one already?
no,
It's just the exact same bid.
no, this is the first time I've ever used 50/50 in Wakanda.
Was that the Vermillion shop then? Because I've seen this sheet before, with this exact same bid on it.
Is that the one we did last week?
No,
You
because
weren't
I
here. You weren't-
just turned them in yesterday morning. That's the first time you should have saw it.
It was in our packet.
Today.
Just today?
Those diesel quotes says December 30th at the top.
Right, there, because I haven't been to a meeting, you guys been kind of busy, so I haven't anymore. So yeah, one of them was for in December.
Right, but you weren't here when we approved it, because it was just a diesel quote.
Yeah, there was a meeting that you were gone for.
Yeah, I think
But you
that,
sent me
I
the
think
quote.
that was maybe the December 7th one for Vermillion shop. But that would only been number 2. That's what. we
Right,
used.
but I remember the P40 from Baldwin.
Yeah.
But this isn't P40 though.
Yeah, for the
No.
Wakanda shop, the diesel quote.
No, he gave me a quote for P40, but we went with 50/50.
Well, this one that I'm showing shows that we're accepting the P40,
What date is on the top?
December 30th.
And he's got P40 and number 2 died
Oh,
in parentheses.
so that's what he used for the 50/50. The P40 instead of number 1.
Yeah, well, it's an additive.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't here when they did that one, so,
So is
Yeah.
P actually cheaper then?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Using P40 can be quite a bit cheaper.
P40, if I'd known that, we'd just fill the tank with
Right,
P40.
right.
I've been wanting to try that anyway, but
Yeah.
so even if we've approved it already, we're only gonna get it once.
Right.
So we'll just I guess we'll just approve it again. We'll make sure we get it.
yeah.
I was going back through the minutes and I don't see it.
I forgot I was going for one of them, but I didn't think it'd been here, but
The last one that we did was diesel quotes for number 2 and number 1.
For what price?
265 for number 2 from Jerry's and 2.6863 for number 1 from Fallen Oil.
That's this one.
Huh.
So when did we have already done it?
okay, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure. So we don't need to do this one.
Okay.
So we'll go to the gas quote for the Vermillion shop.
That's diesel, right?
No, the next gas,
Oh, it's gas.
or the one on my list says gas for Vermillion Shop.
Okay, I see what you got.
Which one?
Go clear down the gas, January 26th code.
Oh,
Low bid is Jerry's Service at $295. I guess that's the only bid. So,
yeah, why is there only one bid?
because
Nobody
nobody else
else
bid.
called back. Not even Brunix that day.
I'm surprised. Brunick's usually always do.
Brunix always puts in a bid, but usually give him an hour. We give him an hour and 45 minutes that day. He never called back, so.
A lot of them don't bid for some reason.
If it's a little too volatile for them to feel comfortable, they don't bid.
Yeah,
Yeah, usually we get 4 bids
Yep.
easily, but I don't know what was up that day.
So you made the motion, Mike? Is that-
yes.
So I've got a motion.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
yes.
Manning,
Yes,
Smith,
Yes,
Packard,
Yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Diesel quote for the Vermillion shop.
So I don't have that one on my list.
Looks like Jerry's Service at 2.3231.
accept the low bid, Jerry's Service.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I'd second that.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Is that the one you added at the beginning of?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
Yes,
Manning,
Yes,
Smith,
yes,
Packard,
yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Right-of-way applications for Clay Union Electric.
Yeah, they're doing some boring on all of these, and one includes, I think it was 1,000 feet of in the road ditch. And I went out and checked them all. They look good. I recommend you approve them. I think I signed them anyway, didn't I, Travis?
So far,
can we do them all at one time, Travis?
we can on those,
so I move approval of all of them.
all 6.
second,
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
yes.
Manning,
Yes,
Smith,
Yes,
Packard,
yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Discuss the need for security cameras at the Wakanda and Vermillion shops.
I don't know if what you guys think. We've been noticing an awful lot of turnarounds at the shop in Vermillion. On the weekends, they come in and either do a couple cookies or drive real slow, it looks like. And of course, never worried about it while the sheriff they were always out there getting gas. They don't do it anymore. I didn't know if you guys thought it was I had some money in the budget for it. I just don't know if. I talked to Andy, was out and delivered a couple flags, and he said they have some cameras around here, I guess. And I didn't know what you thought. I've only got one quote, and it was way too much. And there's a guy out of Gayville, Andy, told me I haven't talked to him yet, so I didn't know what you guys thought. We got an awful lot of expensive equipment and stuff sitting out there, and I don't know, we haven't had any trouble that I know of so far, but in the Wakanda shop, the diesel barrels are above ground. We have them locked, but those would be a little easier to get into.
yeah. Boy, it sure makes sense. So who would check somebody would check the cameras every day or?
Yeah, the one is a live feed to a computer screen. That'd be on my desk, and then I'd have a warning, it's motion detected. Then it'd be a warning that come on Larry and my cell phone, like off hours. Well, it'd do it during the day,
Mhm.
whatever, but so on the weekends, if we weren't around, we know somebody was in there, and then we look at the camera when we come in.
Mhm.
So some of them are, the one I was looking at, stores it in a thumb drive type of thing. The receiver's inside the shop, and then you just put your thumb drive up in there and download it, put it in the computer. Because we don't have internet or a phone in Wakanda, so that one we'd have to check remotely. I mean, we have to go actually pull it down, or the other one will be on a screen. We can't hook them together unless we get internet up there. I don't think we need internet just for a security camera. But I didn't know, I have this guy from Gayville sounds a lot cheaper. So. But I just wondered what you guys thought.
Yeah, look
I
into it.
highly support it. I think it's a protection that helps us, I'm sure, with insurance and just safety.
Yeah, I guess I have to talk to the insurance company if there's any, like get a little rebate on it if you have them or
Ask
whatever.
Lane.
Huh?
Ask Lane, see if there's any emergent, for security.
Oh, he must be gone today.
No, he's on there.
Oh, he is.
Anything for security?
Oh, did
You got
you
your- you got your
Suck
voice
on a
must have
helium,
been
he must
changed.
sucked on a helium balloon.
Yeah, you sound like Minnie. Still.
Or Mickey.
That's out of my hearing range.
Oh, dear.
Still not right.
Talk to you later, Lane.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
I didn't know to do that.
Oh, yeah. it changed.
Now, for
I like
my point of view, I did install one of these Simply Safe things that you see on TV from time to time. I installed it about 3 months ago out at my property out on the edge of town because we were having some my daughter was reporting some issues out there. So we put in 2 outdoor cameras, an inside camera, some motion detection things, and it all hooks together and then downloads either to a cell phone connect or a Wi-Fi. We have a Wi-Fi out there, and it really works quite well. Pretty good high resolution footage on the cameras, and they install very easily. So, and I don't know, I guess it wasn't divulged to me exactly what this costs. Sarah paid for it. So, but it was in the hundreds, not thousands of dollars. So I do know that much, but it's been a pretty effective system for us. And it automatically notifies my cell phone and Anna's cell phone if there's anything that's triggered anywhere. It notifies immediately, and I can take a look at whatever the alert is. I can actually view the footage in real time, and it does record and stores it for, I think, 48 hours or like that, something like that, automatically. It also, I can turn on audio. It doesn't automatically turn audio on, but I can turn on audio. So both I can hear whatever's going on, as well as I can so far yell at the dogs.
Yeah, I've seen that Simply Safe advertised. Okay, I will check into it and see what I can come up with.
And I can get you an idea what we paid for it. I don't remember. I think that she probably did tell me, but it's like I say, it's in the hundreds of bucks rather than the $1.
Sounds good. Anything else on that for Rod?
There's another one that we hooked up at home that's Alfred camera, but that was done like 3 years ago and I don't know how it was free through the phone system. I
Oh.
don't know how extensive it would work for you. But it's something else to look at.
Okay, thank you.
Lane just sent me a message that he'll check with safety benefits too, to see if there's any,
Okay.
any program with the insurance company.
My insurance company does give me a benefit for it. It'd take a few years for it to pay for itself, however,
Right.
in insurance reduction.
The new CDL requirements and cost increase.
I don't know if you've been following this.
Yeah,
That's about all I got to say about it, except for if you go, if we send, we can't do it like we've been doing it after the 7th. We can't send them up here to take the written test and then they can't drive around with one of our guys for 2 weeks and then go to Yankton. Now they gotta go through a training course, either at a Tech or tech school. They're ranging anywhere from 45 to 5,500, 6-week course.
Is it 6 weeks? Is that what it? Okay.
Yeah, and South Dakota LTAP is scrambling, so to speak, to see if they can come up with something and have somebody on their staff test to be a trainer, which is pretty extensive. I looked into that about that much and there's no way. I mean, that would take a full-time person to do that. And then that person's also gonna be responsible for, you know, if they let them slide a little bit and then something happens, they're coming back, so. Just letting you know that after the 7th, we just had the new hire, she just passed her CDL. So we got that done before the 7th. So it's pretty cheap doing it that way.
Yeah, because we normally pay for that.
For their license, the training, and like the only time they could get in was on Sunday, so it would pay for 2 people have to go over there because somebody has to drive her over there.
So what did it cost in the past? Just like,
Oh, it total comes out to around $350.
we're going up to 45 to 55.
Yeah, and there's a shortage of truck drivers and, you know.
Well, and plus, you're gonna have this person on staff for 6 weeks and they're gonna be in school.
Right.
So I don't know where.
Yeah, they're.
I just want you to be aware of how it's not, you know, I don't know. Everybody, all the counties are trying to figure out, you got Minnehaha and Lincoln, they're training a person, they're getting ready to train a person, but they got way deeper pockets and that's all that person's gonna do. So we're trying to see, their lawyers are trying to figure out if they want to take on any of the other counties, but we're still gonna have to pay. Like everything else, we gotta outsource to pay, and the state's attorney up there wasn't too receptive to them bringing in outside counties yet.
Oh.
They don't have a trainer either yet. I mean, they're working on it, so. And I don't know, the law is,
And it's federal.
yeah. Yeah, and it's a federal law, it ain't a state law. I heard something, I thought that for state, county employees in the state of South Dakota, they were gonna do something for that, but I ain't been able to find it, and LTAP would have known that before I did, and so I don't know what I heard that day, but
I wish they'd let us make one just for the state of South Dakota. You know,
Yeah.
we can't cross state lines and.
yeah, right now, you know, we have intra-state licenses, and we can go like 50 miles across state line, so we can go Sioux City and get asphalt. That's about the only state line we cross. So our guys don't have to have medical cards either, and they don't have to have hazmat anymore. So, I mean, we got rid of a lot of expense that way, and yeah, we're coming back tenfold.
Do you go down to Nebraska? Andy?
No reason to. Well, I guess we have one across Nebraska come into South Sioux City.
Okay,
But then again, we're still within the
50 mile. Yeah.
reach.
Yeah,
So
that's
just-
50 miles from the point of entry, as I recall.
Yeah. So just so you are aware, I didn't know if you were aware what's coming, so we're gonna find out, I guess.
Yeah, boy, that I've over the years, I've had employees that were pretty sharp and I could just give them a few days to study up and they could take the written that way and then send them up to Yankton to get their test. And then I've had others on the other end where I'd spend $2,500 to send them up to Mitchell Votech to take a short course up there. And then they're tested by Mitchell Votech, which really simplified the process for me and guaranteed me I'd get a result eventually, either a driver, no driver, no messing around. But yeah, this is a significant upshot to have to give up an employee for that long is the biggest problem, I think.
Yep. Because you're short 2 employees still, right?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that later, but yeah, we had one kid came out of Lake Area Tech with heavy equipment experience and a Class A CDL. And he made it 6 months and went to work someplace else for more money, so. That's the only way we caught a break with him. I didn't have to pay for his. The other gal was just started and she quit now, but she never finished her CDL. And so we only had her written test spent on her, so. Just something, I don't know, where you're gonna,
And you want to talk about that later in executive session?
Yeah,
Personnel.
if you have time today. That's about all I have for the highway department.
Anybody have anything else for Rod? I'll take a motion to go into ditch board.
So move.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hammond,
yes.
Henning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes,
Mochler.
Yes, we're in ditch board. Update on the 128 FEMA meeting.
Finally, 3 years later. So we turned in all the bills for the dike repair, the 2 culverts on the 2 laterals. We had a meeting, about hour and a half meeting. And so those are turned in. The next thing is they only want to talk about the 5 miles that we did at FEMA time from 457 to the West County line. They don't want nothing else listed on there. So I guess, do you want Laura and I continue being the go-to people on this? He told me we started it, but from now on, all I have is pictures. I told her right now, we have Brad from Altig. So is that part of that is what he was hired to do, is look at the FEMA stuff? Okay,
Yeah, because he was supposed to go from the beginning to the county line.
okay. So then we can only
We can only turn in the bill.
turn in from there over. Okay, so I'm meeting with Brad today. He's coming down. We're gonna drive. He wants to see where, you know, what stretch I'm talking about. So I told this lady that right now, the engineers, it's in the engineer's hand. So I'm pretty sure that I sent her the pictures that somebody sent you, Donnie Logue, I think.
Justin.
So I sent those pictures in, and when I get whatever FEMA comes in, or Alteg comes in with their suggestion, then I'll send that into her, keep her updated. But as of now, everything but the clean out is, the paperwork's turned in. So hopefully you'll be seeing something. I'm sure they're gonna want, it can't be this easy, just one and done. We usually have to do it 3 different times. But now we're dealing with a lady in Washington State, so she wanted to have a meeting at 9:30, so we were ready at 9:30 and 9:30 her time. And finally she called at 11:30. I'm like, hey, do you realize we're like 2 hours difference? So we got that straightened out. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure you wanted us to continue. We are keeping track of our time that we're putting in on the meetings and stuff, because we turned that into FEMA also, the indirect cost, or is that indirect or direct? I can't remember. Anyway, we turned that in anyway, so we're keeping track of that, but I didn't know if you wanted. And I mentioned something about maybe I should have a liaison from the ditch board, and she absolutely come unglued. We do not want to mention the ditch board. We went through this appeal. This is Clay County. So we're just dealing with you. Okay, I'm not arguing. I just thought maybe somebody else should be in there. So, but I didn't tell her that, or she didn't say I couldn't talk to you about it. That's why.
What, are they mad we won?
I don't know. But anyway, that's the update. So we're moving forward with that. I just wanted to make sure that that's what Brad was gonna especially look at, that stretch with the whenever he could. Of course, now it's froze, so we can't check anything out yet, but he wants to make sure
Yep.
of what stretch.
So Brad will be a direct cost then to the
Yeah.
ditch.
So other than that, she was happy with the bills we turned in, and first thing I want to know is how did we figure out how to do the dike? I goes, we hired an engineer to do it, and boy, that's magical word, just say engineer, and they're happy on that end, so we sent them everything that we had, so. And I'll let you know. Well,
So when we get
Rhonda will-
reimbursed, we have to make sure that money, like where those culverts are at, get back in the right laterals.
yeah, it was lateral 1A and 2B, no, 2A and 1B.
And then the indirect cost, your time, that comes back.
Yeah, and then did we must have furnished a culvert, did the lateral, do you remember? Wow. Because we have a bill for the 60-incher from True North, because we had to order that one.
Right.
The one up north, I think the lateral got from us. We haven't looked to see if that was, if we just put it up there and waited for the money to come back. And I guess I don't remember if the lateral got charged for that culvert or not. That was like only 3 years ago.
Right. I don't know. We'll have
May
to
or
find it.
June, but we'll look at that. Laura said she'd look at the past bills.
Okay.
So you
that's
got
where-
Laura's time too, aren't you? Putting
Yeah,
that down
yeah.
to it.
Well, I have to have her in there because she's
Right,
looking for all these bills. I mean, I got half of the information that the other have.
right.
Plus she writes a lot faster than I do, and I can't read what I write down, so. But yeah, so that's, we got something started anyway, finally.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have for the ditch board. That I could,
So on the 22nd of this month of February, that's, we're having an annual meeting at 1
right at the,
extension office.
yep, I wrote that down. I was actually listening that day.
I only got one thing, and I've gotten, Rod set out some
Yeah,
letters
that
on the
was it.
Ferry Center ditch to clean it. And so far I've got one bid. And they're, in the letter, he told them to send it to Carrie, which is fine. I just happened to get the bid. He gave it to me direct, but
Right, and I said to, information, call you or me, but figured better have the bids come up there, so
right.
but
And
I
I-
sent out 8 letters. 8 contractors on that local list. So he's only got one back.
And you need an excavator to clean it, right?
Yeah, we're actually, I think we're gonna clean the whole thing.
Okay.
Way it looks like. He said it's be the easiest. Well, there's a couple miles we don't have to clean. We're guessing at about 3 miles to clean and then 2 miles to move trees. Some of them it's gonna be cleaning and removing trees, but most of it's gonna be just, there's a couple miles in there. I don't think we have to do anything.
Okay. Anything else for ditch board?
I got,
Lane?
is my voice better now?
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, better before, oh,
Yeah, no idea what the mic was. I was just gonna check with Rod if either he or Larry is going to be at the April 7th thing with Amanda.
Oh, is that the one you sent out yesterday?
Yeah,
Email? Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
okay. Because I think
Yeah.
part of what they're gonna go over is the new policies that we may have been partly contributing to
For the call.
with the ditch board thing, so.
Okay. Yep,
Okay.
I was planning on doing that. I guess I didn't get back to you.
Well, that's okay. More info will be coming out. I just wanted to make sure we had you or Larry there, so.
Okay.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion to come out.
So move.
second,
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Hammond,
Yes,
Manning,
Yes,
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
yes.
Mochler.
Yes, we're in regular session. Lexi?
These out. This is just kind of a modification of my budget, if you guys were to authorize what I'm gonna ask about. So Jill Dodson resigned with our office. Her last day was on Friday. And so what we've got coming up, we're advertising for another legal assistant. This is really going to be taxing upon Linda, and the rest of us will try to help incur as best we can. I do have some money budgeted for some overtime, but it's a lot. And so I reached out to a young lady that we had intern with our office last summer to see what her class schedule was like for this semester. I think she would be great to help out. And she is interested in that and would be able to do mornings for us. Her classes start in the afternoons. So what I'm asking for is authorization to hire an intern for the rest of the semester. And so that's 13 weeks projected at the $14 an hour there that we paid her last summer. And the reason I calculate for that, it would be February, March, and April. Then I figure she can do finals in May. And my hope is that we have someone hired, hopefully even long before that. And that's why, I'm referencing this to you guys, is to see what that could be best case scenario for us personnel wise, worst case scenario financially. Position starting wage, if we were to get somebody hired for our new legal assistant spot starting March 1st, and I will tell you that's not going to happen. I've got a trial coming up. And so I won't even look at this again really until after that. Hopefully doing interviews by the end of February. But if all the pieces were to fall together and you guys were to approve an intern just in case they don't, and we have Claire work through the end of her semester, plus we were to get somebody hired by March 1st to fill the legal assistant spot, there's about, if we start at the low end, we'll come in under budget, and I wouldn't even really need to be here. But I wanted to show you, if we got somebody with experience, they started March 1st, we still have promised Claire to work as an intern with our office for the next few months, then I would be about $3,700 more that I would need to come back to the table and ask you guys for. And so that's why I'm here today, is projections for that. I don't really feel comfortable. I don't know. If we go into April, again, might be a zero game. If we don't get somebody hired until April to fill that spot, might be able to incur the intern expense without anything. But I wanted you guys to see this And that it could, at the end of the day, end up being another $3,700 that I haven't budgeted for. Maybe I'll make up for that in other aspects, but I didn't want to do that without asking your permission first. If at the end of the year, I'm here saying, hey, I'm a little off.
Was she the gal that you had last summer? I mean, that was around here? That came down to meetings with you?
Yes.
So she's actually already got an idea of how everything works in the office.
Absolutely. And
So there'd be no
works-
training, basically.
Really, I mean, we'll need to teach her some things because we had her work in a different capacity as an intern, far more learning based, and we're gonna have her making files. She's already done scanning for us, so making files, doing charging documents, those types of things. So there'll be some training, but she knows the files, she knows the system. This should be a pretty seamless transition, and we're really fortunate with her class schedule that this would work out.
So you've budgeted 46,846 for that position this year, right? The new legal assistant?
So the new legal assistant right now is budgeted.
Under the 2022 budget?
Yes, yep. That's what that spot is budgeted for.
And you're saying you're not gonna have anybody at least for a month
Right.
minimum?
But we had vacation and sick leave payout for Jill. So otherwise we would have, I mean, yeah.
So that would have been, okay.
So that's why even with that month overlap of not paying anybody for the month of February, I don't think I can float it. I think it's gonna,
You burnt it up with.
Right.
payout. Okay.
there's a very good chance that this is not gonna affect or impact the budget at all. Because if we go much into March, the intern cost is gonna be a wash. And certainly if we didn't get somebody hired to fill that spot until April, I mean, I hope. But after last year's struggles, hiring an attorney and going eight months, you just never know. And that's why I would like to, and I appreciate Claire being interested and willing to do this. I'd like to say, hey, let's do this for the rest of the semester to her definitively. And then, and I'll have other things to put her to work to do. If we get a new legal assistant hired too. So we have projects we kind of sit on the back burner that we got a person, we'll get her done. So I guess I just, for permission to go forward with this, understanding that I think realistically, this probably isn't gonna cost anything more. But it could end up being about another 3,700.
Yeah, I'd say thanks for the heads up, and it looks like you got a good perspective plan. And I don't know if you need permission, but you sure have my thanks for giving us a heads up with of this change that could come up. It's $3,500, but possibly, but no, I think that'll work out well. I've got your spreadsheet on my screen here.
Thank you.
So she's gonna need permission because this is gonna be changed to her budget.
Oh, okay, so it will be an official change?
Well, I mean,
Well,
we
not
have to,
yet.
you
Yeah.
can't hire it and then come back
I know.
later afterwards. We need to either say yes or no right now.
So you want a
Okay,
formal motion?
Yeah.
So I move to approve.
I'll
Second.
that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Hammond,
yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes,
Packard,
Yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you all very much.
JDAI grant.
Yeah, so we talked about this last time and Annie Broken Leg just emailed me yesterday and was asking about getting that work group set up and wanted just your guys' formal authorization to move forward with that. I think it's gonna be a really good group. She's got a great cross section of folks reaching out to representatives from law enforcement, probation, judge, one of you all. I know Dick's name was floated last time. So I don't know if that's a possibility, or Betty or anyone else that just hoping to move forward on that and getting permission to do that and your blessing. And then whichever one of you would be willing to serve on that work group would be great.
This would fit in well with one of my other appointments that hasn't really had much to do the last few years. So I'd certainly volunteer for this as long as it's okay with everyone else.
that'd be great.
excellent.
Yeah, I think that's why everyone thought of your name. because you've got a related responsibility.
Mhm.
That and you weren't here to defend yourself.
Yeah, that too.
Well,
Mostly that.
Yeah, mostly that.
well, I've, and I do have to apologize. I have almost checked out of life here for about 2 weeks or a little better. So I didn't really read those minutes and look at last week's meeting much until yesterday morning, actually. That was the first day that I've really been out of the fog much between having both that surgery and COVID. I'm not sure which fogged me up the worst, but I've been kind of a doofus for a little while, so better for me not to check in very much until I'm feeling much better and capable of really contributing today.
Sounds good. So if you're up for it, Dick, we'll entertain a motion to appoint you to that board.
So move.
I'll
Second.
second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you all.
Oh. I hate to do this to everybody, but I think in Rod's interest, we should go to executive session so he can get back to work, because I think the jail enforcement, because that's not for another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to start early in case somebody wants to show up. But we can get Rod done if we'll go into executive session, which means I have to throw everybody out. Sorry.
I just read here on this thing we just got from Carrie how beneficial exercise is. So maybe we're doing them a favor.
Move to
Can I
go
use-
into executive session for
Personnel.
personnel.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Or there is no discussion on this one.
Wes, can I have you shut the door for us, please?
Roll call.
Okay, hang on. I've got to move everybody to, yeah, let's do the roll call. Hammond,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
yes.
Mochler.
Yes, we're in executive session.
Okay, I've got to move everybody to the waiting room here, so I'll just have to, it'll take me a minute to do that.
I guess I may still be a little impaired, but to use the word I just used to describe my impairments.
You know, Sarah said that about you.
I
Is that
knew
before
there was
you
some
do
reason that idea came up.
Okay, now we can take a motion to come out.
So move.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to come out of executive session. Roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
yes.
Mochler.
Yes, we're in regular session. We're just letting everybody back in the room right now.
You know, the problem is they can go out to Walmart. They can go out to Walmart or something with no responsibility and get paid good money, or get paid 18 probably.
I was thinking about that also, Mike.
It's a tough labor market.
Yeah.
Because we are the biggest age cohort in the history of the US. And we all retired and we left big spaces and the age cohorts behind us are smaller.
Yeah.
And so, some of it's COVID, anybody who's close to retirement.
We are open, Betty.
risking their life for it. So they retired too. So now you're getting all these people retiring at 62.
Right.
Because they feel as though their life is threatened. And so it's just, well, they call it the great resignation, The whole country was that.
I don't think it's as much, some people come out and say, well, these young people do not want to work.
No, I don't think that's it at
I
all.
don't either.
I don't think that's it at all.
I don't either. I think it's the other way around. I
Yeah.
think it's not. because they don't wanna
It's
work.
happening on the retirement
Yeah,
side, not
yeah.
on
Yeah,
the, people
totally
do,
agree with you. Yeah.
people do want to work.
Yeah.
And they're willing to work hard,
yeah. Just, just can't find it.
I've got the full employment family. I've got a whole generation now working their asses off.
Okay, so now is the time for the jail and law enforcement center land purchase discussion. So whoever would like to go first.
So,
I don't care who starts.
all right, well, I would like to make a motion that we purchase 7.4 acres on the west side as recommended by the Citizens Committee.
Can I interject before?
Yeah.
I gave you copies of the preliminary.
Do you want to come to the microphone, Dave? They won't be able to hear you on there.
I provided with, this is just a preliminary plat. This is not filed with Ina's office or anything. So it's still the full acreage. We would have to plat it out. So that's a preliminary plat that Larry had done. So the 7.4 acres would be the lots listed there 6 through 9. So basically you're free to, determine the size. You don't have to do, because there's nothing officially platted out. I just wanted to add that in there, that it's not platted. That would have to be done.
Does the 7.4, that goes to the center of Cherry Street, correct, in that front of the street, or is it just what's in yellow?
Just what's in yellow. This is the frontage road right here.
Right. But don't you own the middle of the road? Is this
How about
supposed-
microphones?
Oh, sorry, mine was off.
Yeah.
Inside the yellow, I was just wondering if that's still 7.4?
Yes,
if it's-
inside the yellow is the 7.4.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're actually getting 7.4 buildable acres.
correct.
So Dave, did you, I know you and I talked before here a little bit, but you want to tell the rest of the guys that what you found out when you negotiated with 14 acres?
Our initial negotiations, happened months ago. My last conversation with Larry was yesterday, and I tried to negotiate a little more, but Larry is at his $4 an acre for the west half. Says that's his final offer. And he has taken the 5-year option off the table at this point. He has reduced it to a 1-year option. And basically what Larry conveyed to me was he'll stick to the agreements that we've initially made, but after the end of the March, we're back at the table. So he's.
And what was the price for the total per acre? Is that per acre?
$3 an acre.
Square foot.
Square foot, I'm sorry.
But yeah,
Per square foot.
Yes.
And so the 7.4 acres would total out to approximately 1.3 according to your present agreement. The entire parcel.
According to the square footage of the plat map, it comes out to like 1.29 and some change.
Okay. And if we bought the entire parcel, it'd be about 1.8.
Correct.
$650,000 difference, or no, 560,000, sorry.
Because I don't know if anybody's got a calculator. I can tell you the square footage of the whole acres there. It should be on your maps. Is it written across the top there?
That 618 is the whole parcel?
Yep, 618, 902,000 square foot. So calculate that times 3, and that'll give you a price for the whole works.
1.856.
So. And I think, personally, from my professional standpoint, this is cheaper per square foot than any of the options we looked at in the surrounding areas. I mean, the market's volatile, and I understand Larry's position. I can't fault him for not sticking, because it's a volatile market. I mean, it's gonna go up.
So what he's saying is if within a year, if we wanted to buy the rest, it'd be $4 a foot.
Correct. If you bought the west half, you would have an option to buy the east half at the current price of $4.
And what would the taxes be on that property we don't use?
The current taxes right now on it, I think for the total 14 acres is like $800 some dollars. It's ag land. So you're not losing much tax base there. It's like $800 some dollars a year for the whole works.
So 400 on the
Yeah.
east half.
$400.
Yeah, the taxes are,
Which would be offset by renting it out.
Correct.
Would actually be a net gain.
Correct. And there is also, Larry had mentioned this before, that he is in agreement with the current renter. If he sells it after he has put his crop in, he is to be reimbursed for his crop. So the cost of putting it in and stuff, so you guys realize that. So,
Reimbursed by Larry or by us?
well, it would be by the county, I'm sure.
I just wanted that clarified.
Yeah. Any other questions for me?
Nope. So I do have a motion to purchase the west 7.4 acres.
I do have a quick question. Are we proposing here to actually purchase them or enter into an option for purchase?
The option.
Okay. So the odds are good that if we went to a vote in June, by the time we were ready to break ground, the crop would be harvested. So that would not be an issue.
Yeah, I don't think even if it passed in June that we would start breaking ground this fall. It would be a next
Okay.
spring.
Mhm. Yeah,
But there'd be quite a bit of site prep that would be going on this week, this summer. My guess
Yep.
is that we'd have surveying, soil borings, other types of work that would destroy some crop. But it probably wouldn't be that big of a number. So depending on what he planted.
It could be enough. I mean, we could possibly be better off to enter into that agreement that we rent the west half at a minimum,
Yeah,
because that would be
And
the
that's-
cheaper.
that's got to be done sometime the next month too, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd want to, whatever we approve today, we're going to want to get started on that option to purchase.
Correct.
And that can probably be negotiated at that time. Correct.
Do we need to have a maximum dollar amount at least in this motion?
Well, yeah, we know what it's going to cost.
Okay,
It's 1.290 and $600. Or it's 1.856.
Yeah, so I'd be amenable to including a price of 1.290600.
maybe say that as the maximum price.
Yep.
I'd second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? My only thought is that, we don't know what the future is going to bring. If we bought the whole thing, we know who our neighbor's going to be. And then we control it. And even if he gives us an option for a year, we're not going to have the money to purchase it. So, I mean, today's the day and tomorrow's too late. That's going to be the kind of thing on this property.
I agree with Travis. I feel we are not going to find property at this price again. If there's any county needs in the future, we'll be paying a great deal more. And to me, I'm not thinking of future courthouse. I'm thinking of if law enforcement has others. I know I had mentioned before that Clay County, yes, is looking for larger amount of property, but there are other programs that could take place for the county in that area. I think I think we're really selling ourselves short of not buying or trying for the whole at $3 a square foot rather than the half at $4. I would like to hear more from the public that are here as far as their concerns on it. I know certain people are are they still anti-county additional property?
I guess I would just like to say that I sat in on the committee's meetings over a period of time. And it seems absolutely clear to me that if we want to succeed in the June bond issue, and if we really want a new jail and law enforcement center, 7.4 acres is what's possible. I don't think 14 acres are possible. I mean, I'm not even going to engage in that argument because I don't think that the public will buy it. And I'm dead certain, given all of those meetings that I've sat in on over the months, that is true. I think everybody has said what they're going to say and made it very, very clear. I stand by my motion.
People in those same meetings, because I went to them also, were the ones who said that the school board had the foresight 50 years ago to purchase extra property. And thank God they did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even gonna go there because I think the issue is moot. I think if we actually want a law enforcement center and jail to be built in the next 2 years, the 7.4 acre bond issue is what will pass. And I don't think that the 14 acre bond issue will pass. And I'm not sure that it helps us to sort of go over the same territory over and over and over again. I feel like we've all made our arguments. And I think those arguments were really clarified by the work that the committee did. So we could certainly vote for 14 acres, but we'll be in the same place as we were after the June election. We'll be looking at another bond issue again next year.
Well,
what
part of?
I don't see the point.
What's the deal breaker on the extra property? That's what I haven't heard yet. I haven't heard why it's a deal breaker.
So this is Alexis, and I just wanted to, I thought it was interesting, and I know that they put out there that it's an unofficial poll, but I came across, the Plain Talk had a poll out on Facebook about things, and I only voted once, but you can look at the results even without voting out on their website. And today, as it stands, what it indicates out there, unofficial poll, 70.3% of the people who took the time to vote for that said pursue the purchase of the 14 acres for 1.86 million. 29.7% said pursue the purchase of 7.4 acres for 1.3 million. That was really interesting to me. I just thought it was,
yeah.
It was interesting.
If I may, those polls are notoriously unreliable. It's not actually a poll. The percentage of the population that reads the Plain Talk, it is skewed, right? I mean, so it's not, those polls kind of make people feel good who engage in them, but I'm not sure that they are, I am sure that they are absolutely not accurate.
On the other hand,
this is a political scientist with a lot of training.
Phyllis?
Yeah, please. On the other hand, almost every call that I received on our previous issue about the river and development, people were saying, what is Why not? Yeah, they were in support of the full acreage. It only made. I would like to hear from our past mayor, who I believe is on.
Sure, Phyllis, be happy to speak. My furnace has been out for a couple of days now and I'm trying to deal with that. So I've been on and off here, but if there's still an opportunity to speak, I'd be happy to speak.
There is. Go ahead.
Thank you. The biggest thing to remember here, I think, is that we need a jail and law enforcement center. If we put any more reasons for people to vote no, it's going to make it very difficult to pass that. The reason that is looming large that I don't know if anybody has really addressed is the property tax ramifications of anything that's done, but certainly with the school bond issue out there and this one probably going to be at least that much, you're looking at 50 plus $60 million in bond issues to be paid off over the next 30 years, the likes of which we've never had in Clay County. If you just put that down on your own individual properties and see what that'll do to the tax rolls, that is reason enough to back off on land that we don't need for the project, because that gives you another reason to vote no. It gives people another reason to vote no. So I think we learned from the last election, it needs to be clean. It needs to be done individually for the project and not lumped in with what might happen or what could happen. You're going to need help to get this bond issue passed. You don't need anybody working against it. And if you buy just the land that's needed for this project, I think we all have a good chance of seeing that succeed. Thank you.
I have a question. Andy, did you tell me one time that there's a possibility of putting a training center?
Well, we don't know.
No.
I think we're talking about fairgrounds.
Okay, okay,
City.
okay. Couldn't remember what you had said then. Well, I guess my thoughts I came here today thinking, well, if the price goes down on the 14 acres, that I would probably be voting for the 7.4, okay? But the more I think about this it's kind of going back to what the school did, and I know we can't go back to that, but I can't predict what's gonna happen 10 years down the road. I don't think anybody can. And I guess I get to the point is we're never probably gonna get an opportunity to buy, like Phyllis says, a piece of ground at this price. You know, it makes me wonder if we shouldn't be doing something like this, because for other things that come down the line that we can't foresee at the moment. I know Phyllis talked about a boys and girls home. Well, I think that's a legit thing, that not a home, excuse me, boys and girls clubs. And if any of you went to the USD basketball games since they've started this year, they got a boys and girls club down there about every week. They bring their kids down to see the games. So I think it's very important to help with the juveniles in the city and stuff to, you know, keep them off the street, find them something to do. And so I guess in that respect, I'm a little more leaning towards buying the 14 acres, and hopefully we can use it in the future.
Yeah, and I don't think that, given our experience of the last bond issue,
Oh, I understand.
I don't think that will pass. I mean, I think we have a really serious problem here, and that, you know, the issue on the table is, are we going to have a jail and law enforcement center? And I'm not willing, excuse me, Phyllis, I'm not willing to give that up in order to buy land that we have no use for at the present. We are now paying a fortune in inmate boarding costs to 3, sometimes 4 different counties. And we will have to continue to do that until we actually have a jail. And, we're sending our officers all over creation, ferrying inmates back and forth. Is that the best use of our law enforcement officers? I think if we actually want to do this, we need to, we need to say, this is what's possible. And so Mike, and Travis, as much as I understand your desire for the 14 acres, and it's always nice to have extra land, I don't think it's possible. And so, the majority could vote for that, but then we won't get a law enforcement center and a jail. And we'll just continue to send inmates all over creation at a very high cost in terms of law enforcement officers, gas, mileage on vehicles, and boarding costs.
Okay, so I'm gonna back up to the question I asked earlier. Why is the extra acreage a deal breaker? What makes it a deal breaker?
And I must, if I may,
You have to use the,
I think Phil had something up there.
what, Phyllis?
I felt that Betty was using part of the argument for buying that extra, for approving the extra or the total package, in that a vote against and to slow down this project will cost very quickly that 500,000, or what is it? The extra money within how, a year, 2 years in spending it out of county to house inmates, and the extra cost of putting off this project another year or two. Basically, you're going to spend that money if you vote the project down. That's.
Wes?
I think, and I'm
Oh,
gonna
the
just,
button needs to be up. There you go.
I'm just going to reiterate the whole cost thing. We all got what our taxes are going to be recently. And it's only going to go up more once the whole project goes through, no matter what it is. But I think even with the weather situation the way it is, farmers are going to get bitten again if we don't get some rain. But I think it's all a money issue. And I think right now there's a trust issue. And I think we've got to move forward with something. I'm feeling for you, Andy. I just think this is something that a lot of us who wanted the word to get out to folks about voting and what's going to happen. We were square right up front saying, we want to help get this taken care of for our community. That's something we're not messing with. And the committee itself has worked like maniacs, have come up with some great plans. We're really fair about that. And I just think at this point right now, all that work would go down the drain, because I don't think the larger package would pass. And that would be a real shame. I think it'd be a real shame. And, we weren't trying to be mean or mean-spirited or anything else by not seeing it go through last time. We just wanted folks to be able to have some kind of a vote and say in it. But I think money, and right now we've got to be real honest with every taxpayer and say, we want to go forward with this and we think this is the best deal and the best bang for the buck. I just think it's something that I too would hate to see this not go through and put everybody on hold again. Thank you.
Anyone else? Andy?
I was just going to jump in and just kind of talk about the state of the situation today in terms, I think Betty kind of covered this somewhat, but I was going to give a little bit more timely numbers. And the problem we're trying to solve right now is the need for a jail, right? And we're not trying to acquire land for county future use. We're not, that's the equivalent of saying, while we're fixing the jail, let's go ahead and build a new extension office while we're at it. While you're at it, let's tag this to it. And I get frustrated where we keep trying to add to this project. And what we need to do is build the jail. As we sit right now, we have 27 inmates in the jail. 9 of those are in-house, just because we're able to. But so we're closing in on the number of 20 boarding out of county. We've been paying roughly $30,000 a month out of county for the last 6 months. I expect that number to be more like 40
going forward. As we sit here this month, I expect to pay bills in the tune of 39,000 for January. Our average daily population in the jail for January is 27. And we have 27 in right now. We've exceeded 30 a few times, a few days in January. I don't really expect that number to significantly drop. I think it's going to hover around that area. So that said, I think there's an urgency. I think we need to get this done. I don't think we can pay $40,000 a month for yet another year. We talk about, Phyllis had mentioned it, if this thing gets kicked down the road another year, we'll spend the 500,000 right there while we argue about whether or not we need more land than we need for future use. And I would love for the county to own that land. I think it would be a good thing for the county to have that land. That's me as Andy, the taxpayer, but me as the sheriff that needs a jail. The county needs this jail. We can't keep talking about it and tacking on other issues to this needed project. I mean, everybody agrees we need it. So then you would say, well, let's add on this other issue to it because maybe it'll pass. You know, if you recall when we talked about the courthouse issue, when the courthouse was part of the project, just about everybody said, well, we need the jail. We understand we need the jail, but yet the opponents actually argued against the size of the jail because the jail was the hook. That was the popular item. And you can't, you know, we can't argue that we need a jail, so throw the courthouse in. And that's kind of what happened. And we can't keep waiting while we talk about other issues while we try to accomplish this one thing. And so I'm kind of rambling a bit here. Sorry about that, but I just wanted to make sure you understand the urgency, and it's not going to get better. I can get you numbers for 2021 for the year. I just ran January because I was seeing what's happening in there, and I expect that to continue.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this is Steve Waller. I can't help but reiterate exactly what Andy was talking about. But I think we need to also remember that a year's delay will cost us more in building the building. With inflation, you're probably looking at another $1 million, perhaps, maybe more for that. So that a year delay is something. My concern and the committee's concern was we want this project done. We think the 7.4 acre probably is the more likely of the path to pass than buying the full acreage. If somebody has a bite or gripe, just buy 14 acres is enough to give them a no. But I don't know if I've heard anybody sit there and say that they wouldn't vote for something at 7.4 acres. So that's our concern. Committee's interest is to get this project done. We need a jail. We need a new public safety center, need a new 911 communication building room. We just need it done. So we'll support whatever the committee does, but probably the path of least resistance will be the 7.4 acre option.
Anyone else?
I think for my part, is there somebody in the room that wants to speak?
Well, go ahead, Dick.
Okay. For my part, I've got to put a lot of emphasis on both our committee's opinion and the user of this project. The main user is going to be Andy and the others that are going to occupy the law enforcement center and run the jail. I guess I'm thinking that I would lean towards the 7.4, though I've got a number of thoughts that I've had on how we would use that other land, mainly uses that would benefit the youth of our community. But I know that just having those thoughts and proposals are probably not enough to sway the folks that are pretty adamant that they would support. From what I heard from Dan a little bit ago, sounds like he would be an active proponent of going ahead with the project. It sounded like a ringing endorsement to me and almost a pledge of support. If we go ahead with the 7.4 or the 7 acre plus proposal. We can, my guess is that land will still be available there next door, going on ahead. And maybe if we do decide that we need some other, have some other projects that are ready to go ahead, that we could propose and we could find funding somehow for it. All that gets to be pretty high, high in the sky perspective use, I'm afraid. And I agree with the time to buy it is now at a much better price, but I think we need to go ahead.
Did he freeze? I think he froze on us.
No, he's.
Oh, he's there. Okay.
Yep.
Can I speak up?
Rich?
Yeah, thank you. I have to apologize. I left the meeting to respect your executive order and then couldn't get back in on Zoom. So I may have missed the first few minutes. So if I repeat something, I apologize. But I, of course, being part of the board, I'm in favor of the 7+ acres. But if I understand correctly, we have a 5-year option. And if we identified a purpose for the land, we could get it to that reasonable price. And I think that would be a good thing. But to tie it with this particular bond issue and the jail facility would not be a good idea. I think it would raise too many doubts as to what we're really doing and not show respect for the rest of the community as far as what we're doing, whether we're doing for jail or more than that. So I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that we saw the option in 5 years to pick up that land at a reasonable cost. And if we have identification for it, great. But please don't put it on this particular bond. Thank you.
So Rich, the option changed to 1 year.
What? Oh, did it? Okay.
Yep, it's changed to 1 year. And then as a taxpayer, if we came back in 5 years and bought that property for 1.2, I would seriously question the people in charge why we were paying more than double. I mean, that's what I'm looking at. We're here to look towards the future, not the immediate use. That's always been the shortfall, I think. Everybody wants to just today. We have to look at the future. And it's never going to get cheaper than it is right now.
I agree, but that implies also with the jail, if we have to wait another year or two, it's a lot more expensive and we lose that 1.2 million or additional $500,000 very quickly. However, because I was part of the board, that's what I voted for. And I think after a lot of consideration, thinking about it and discussion, I think that's the best option to purchase at this point, the 7.4 acres. Thank you.
So the additional purchase is going to cost about $1.75 per 100,000 to purchase the rest of that property. So I mean, when we talk taxes, so I'm kind of wondering, I'm still trying to figure out what the reasoning to not purchase the whole thing. I mean, it makes financial sense. Bob?
I agree with the desire to plan for the future. And that's
Microphone.
one of my mantras since we started this back in 2019.
On.
Yes,
It should be on.
Yes, it is.
Bob's got a soft voice.
In terms of what I understand to be a deal breaker is the fear from the opponents that the extra land, for whatever reason, is going to be used for a new courthouse. I think that is the deal breaker. It's unfortunate. I don't think those people understand that this commission has undertaken some very valuable and necessary repairs for this building. This building isn't going to go anywhere. You guys have undertaken a very, very good effort to get the upgrades that it needs. And I'm assuming that's going to continue. But there's still this fear from the opponents that that extra land out there is going to be used for a brand new courthouse. And they need to get beyond that. We gotta have the jail.
So Bob, is your understanding that we would somehow sneak a courthouse in on that project?
I think that's part of what they fear, yes.
How would we do that?
I have no idea. You have to ask them.
I mean, if that's the fear, I would like to understand how they think we would be able to do that in the dark of the night. Is that a true fear? I mean, is it?
Or want to.
Or want to. I mean, I still think it's just a matter of money. I'm a taxpayer in Clay County, have been for a long. And it's one of those things that with the taxes going up with the new school, which was necessary, the jail, really necessary. I just think that extra money could be, it's gonna be the kicker. It's gonna be what blows it right out of there.
So an extra 25,000 a year on the total project.
I would be willing to bet. And once people find out what is this dollar amount for?
Future use. I mean, that's.
You know what? I think it's now. We've got to get cracking on something. We're gonna lose, we could lose the people who work for us because there's not a decent facility for them to be using. And the money that's being going, you know, to Union County. We've got to do something. I get the future thing. We've all had to plan for future. But is it worth it at the risk of losing what we need right now? I think that's the key. I think everybody plans for the future, but I think when money's tight, you gotta do something for the moment too. So I don't think the courthouse is an issue right now. It surely was, and I think information just needed to get out for people to be able to vote. I think people need to feel comfortable about their life. I mean, we're talking about, can I pay my taxes? Can I keep my house? Can we keep the farm going? These are not small issues. And I get planning for the future. I've had to do that, raising children and keeping a roof over my head. But I just think right now it's a matter of immediacy. Yep.
Any further discussion? So we have a motion and a second to purchase the 7.4 acres on the west side. Oh, Paul, sorry.
Could the motion be read?
Yeah, we've got the motion to purchase the 7.4 acres on the west side.
Where's the money coming from?
It's an option, right?
It's an option.
Can you read the motion?
So the motion was, let me go back here. Got a lot of stuff to go through. I have Smith moved that we purchase 7.4 acres on the west side of the property owned by Larry Brady as recommended by the committee.
And then I added that at a price of 1.290600 with a 1-year option.
Yep.
And the new LEC, the city share would be, what, $6 to $8 million? So, Rick, Holland, does the city have that kind of money?
The exact amount has not been established. In the past, based on the repairs we had done before to the courthouse, our share was basically, I believe, 18%, but that's not a guarantee. So it would obviously depend on how much square footage we're talking about for the Vermillion Police Department and half of the 911 facility.
Yeah, and this would be a bond issue, so it'd be subject to a vote.
That's up to the city.
Question was, does the city have the money?
That's not what we're discussing here today. Well, there's nobody here from the city other than Rich. who I don't think, Rich, I don't think you want to make that decision for the
No.
council.
No, I do not. I do know. And so we, John could tell us the way we're going to have that money, but we will have to have our fair share, and we will do that.
Now, the city won't pay for any land.
The price of the land is outrageously high,
What is it?
$175,000 an acre. Is your farmland worth it?
No. If it was, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be at the auction selling it. So the motion is to enter into the option, correct? Is that? Okay,
That's my understanding.
okay. I just wanted to make it clear. It's to enter into the option on the
Yes,
7.4 acres on the west side.
We don't want to end up being like Lincoln County and owning 7.4 acres of land that the bond issue fails on, and then we've got no jail, and we've got land that we're very happy to own, but don't have a good use for it immediately.
Whatever is recommended, we will draw an option to purchase and we will run school.
And
Correct. Yes.
and that's my understanding, and was seconding this.
Okay.
What was that last?
It's all subject to so Dave said he's gonna enter into that agreement for the option to purchase whatever we decide here today. And then Bob reiterated that everything will be subject to the bond issue in June.
And the option to buy would be at $4, correct?
Yeah, whatever that 7.4 figured out, or
$3.
yeah.
No,
But
$4.
7.4 is $3. isn't it?
No.
Mhm.
It's
No,
$4.
that's 4.
$3 for everything.
$3
Oh,
for
three,
everything.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
My fault.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning,
I'm gonna say yes, but I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying yes. I listened to Andy, because I flip flopping back and forth to this. I was going with the 7.4 when I came in. I flipped back the other way today. I feel like not the best way I'd like to operate. Because my own thoughts is I would buy the 14 acres if I had the money, but unfortunately I don't have the money. And I want this thing to get through. I want the jail. So I guess I'm not thinking in the future, unfortunately. But as a taxpayer, I don't want to pay a lot more taxes either. So, but when Andy throws it out there, it's a hard balance. So I'm going to vote yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
And being that it's already passed, but I have got to personally say no. I'm figuring in 1 year, we will be spending that amount, the extra amount in housing inmates out of county. In 1 year. This is absolutely illogical to me to not buy the full acreage at the reduced price. So I'm no.
and Mochler.
No. Motion passes. Thank you.
I will say, yes, I want it to pass. I think this is a PR situation. It has to pass.
Okay, lawnmower purchase. Did everybody get a copy of that?
Yes.
Quote.
Yes.
The only thing that isn't on there is the mulching kit, which we have on the current mower. And that was another. What was the track,
The whole thing is, well, that kit, the flex fork, is that what you're talking about?
okay, so 329, the mulching kit was gonna be another $500.
Yeah.
I forgot to bring that piece of paper in.
What's this kit to this? That way
It's
it'll
gonna
flip
smooth-
up?
Well, no, it'll smooth out the ride
Oh,
and I'll make it more.
rapid
enjoyable
and
to ride.
fast, okay. I follow. Okay.
I would think that should, not even an option, it should just be on there, but
I think so
it
too.
is.
Air ride? Air ride more?
He said it would smooth out the ride, it would help. So if we wanted to go with the mulching kit, we have $500 on there.
So was this a bid?
This was with our trade-in.
This is a bid, yes. It's a, yeah. I don't know if you're gonna buy one much.
Yep, we didn't technically put it out for bids, Betty. We just went back to the company we bought. This is Ace Hardware.
We bought an Ace before.
That's where we bought the mower before. So we're just trying to stay local and stay with the same type of mower.
Yep. Yeah, I looked at prices for the same outfit from across the country, and this is, I mean, this is pretty much what
Now this.
it is
this
what it is.
This is with the trade-in. This is
Yep,
what we'll be paying.
I saw that.
Okay.
So do you need a motion to approve?
We do.
I think
Phyllis, did you have
Phyllis had
something?
Just, has this been run by our new employee?
No,
Is there any thought? I mean, I will approve this, but just occurred to me that that person should at least have some possible say.
yeah, I was just trying to get it, because since we had talked about it last fall, I was just trying to get it done.
Mhm.
That was the only reason I followed up, and I didn't want to wait any longer. I was afraid the mowers were gonna go up. We'd both been missing each other trying to contact, so whatever you guys want to do.
I guess I'd vote to, I mean, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Mhm.
And I
Second.
understand what you're saying, Ben, for Phyllis.
Because
And I'll
this will,
second. Oh,
okay, so I got a motion and a second. This will also be used on the fairgrounds. So we're actually getting, this is a bigger mower. I think we've got a 48 currently, and we're getting a 60-inch.
excellent.
So. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning.
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes,
Mochler.
Yes, motion passes. Let's do the ARPA grant update.
There will be a webinar given by Ide Bailey on February 17th. I can get that information out to you if any of you guys want to log in and listen to that. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of in that final rule that came out, the 437 pages. I found where they are talking about a standard allowance for revenue loss that would allow counties to claim up to $10 million. If that's the case and it's as simple as it seems, then that would make things really easy for us. We wouldn't have to get creative in how we were going to spend that money because there wouldn't be as many regulations. Of course, you know, there's always the fine print, but I think Ide Bailey will be talking about that at that webinar. Seems that that's kind of the route that most of the counties want to go. So I guess we'll see in the coming weeks what we can learn from that. So I think they also plan on answering some of the other questions that are out there. And I know we still haven't gotten a definitive answer on the HVAC system, although, I mean, I think that's clearly allowed. And then I did have a question about whether or not the new phone system could fall under IT improvements. And hopefully they'll answer that too. So.
Did they give us a time frame for answering? 'Cause man, it's been a long
It
time.
has been a long time on
It's
that
outrageous.
first one, and even,
Yes, it is.
and so what they've been doing is kind of gathering these questions and sending out an update, you know, like once a month or something like that, but it's just, I haven't even seen anything come through. And I know as far as the IT cabling and the phone system and such, that I just sent out, you know, like a week or so ago. So they probably haven't had a chance to really answer that, but they did come back with more questions on our question about the HVAC. They, it didn't, you know, fall under the contract for them to review mechanical reports. And I said, well, we didn't want them to review the report. We just wanted a simple answer. And so I think it lost in translation somewhere that they thought that they were supposed to review this report for us, and that wasn't the case. So hopefully we'll get some answers on the 17th.
Anything else on that? Okay. Building manager office space update. We met with them. Things seemed to work out fine. Didn't you think, Carrie? Till we got the email later.
Yeah.
So we were gonna swap the nurse's office with court services. We would have to build a wall in there. If you're familiar with the door to court services, it's a barn door style, top and bottom. It will flip, it swings the right way to go to the nurse's office. So they'd have the same door. We'd have to put a bathroom back into court services. There's already a bathroom there. It's just non-functioning. You know, there's no sink or anything, but the plumbing's there. It used to be a bathroom. Court services came back. Kim Allison, she wants security glass, a counter. I mean, she wants a lot. And I'm not willing to spend that much money to get the wish list done. I mean, everybody seemed, you know, agreeable, but they had to run it by her. And I don't know what happened. So we're still in negotiations, and she's gone for 2 weeks now.
You know, I wonder if that ARPA money would pay for, I mean, she's talking about a glass barrier. Yeah. Because that's the kind of thing that ARPA is paying for. Because it, you know, it's COVID protective.
Well, they want what's in the jail. You know, when you walk in with the little slide through for the papers. That's just a waste of money, I think. Because I'm kind of hoping that in 3 years, if the jail gets built, we can move them over there and it'd already be there. They don't have it now. I hate to spend that money in redesigning. That's my thought. Seemed like everybody was going to get something before, because they were going to get a bathroom in office now, because the nurse's office has a restroom. So that was going to work out well for them with their UA tests.
Right.
So everybody was giving a little and everybody was getting a little. Well, I don't think the nurse's office was getting anything, but they were willing to work with us, so. But now with the extra money, I'm just concerned.
Like what you're saying is which I agree with, is that you don't want to spend the extra money for a short period of time.
Right.
Right.
And does seem kind of rather foolish.
Because if we didn't move them, they wouldn't have it either.
Right. I mean, we just got done talking about 7.4 and 14, and now we're going right back to it. If we're going to spend money other places, it doesn't make sense. You know, so I mean, I guess, where are we going to put it though?
Well, I think it's still gonna happen. It's just how.
Right.
I'm willing to work with them, but I'm not gonna give them everything that they're asking for.
Well, their wish list sounds to me like it's got to pare down a little bit.
Well, I think what we agreed to in that conversation we had in the offices is what we should, what I want to stick to.
I would agree with you.
Because everybody who had to use the office said that this will work. This will be a good deal.
I guess
I
bottom
tend
line.
to agree with that, if I may.
Go ahead, Phyllis.
Go ahead.
I just was saying, I tend to agree. I don't see, if they don't have it now, why is this an extra that they want now? Especially if, you know, when the courthouse, not courthouse, sorry, big mistake. The jail is built, if that is an appropriate space for them also. If they're moving in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, and we discussed that day, and they were open to moving over there because it would be secure and be kind of what they want. And Karen is here. Did you have anything to add, or are you just listening?
Is this happen within the 2 weeks before he starts?
No. Because he's gonna be in charge of it. So. Is there anything I missed, Kara, or misrepresented, or? Okay. Yeah, it was kind of killed what we had agreed on and come with a new plan. So we'll be in discussion. I need to call Ron and talk to him, so. I think, I did talk to Scott. He's probably gonna be using this space, except for Tuesdays when we're here. Cause I don't know where else to put him when he starts. Anybody have anything else? Any suggestions on office space or?
And when I heard that, I thought that was probably the real good idea myself. And then I thought, okay.
Well, it's not ideal for either.
No.
Either office.
But as you point out, it's temporary.
I hope so.
You know, and I really do think that it doesn't make sense to do major renovations when.
It's gonna be bad enough the way it is.
Yeah.
Because we gotta put a wall in. We do it, because we have to make another office. At a minimum. I don't know what else. We gotta do plumbing, which isn't gonna be so bad because the bathroom that's in the court services room right now is directly above this bathroom. So the run up the wall should be fairly simple. The pipes are still there. I just don't know what kind of shape they're gonna be in. Because I don't know how long it hasn't been bad. 50? I'm pretty sure those pipes are bad.
It's not directly above this bathroom's office, it's be above Laura's office.
Oh, it'd be above Laura's office, okay.
When the sheriff's office.
Because that's in there.
They didn't have, they weren't using this bathroom, they used that as a bower.
Really?
Well, we'll have to see.
That bathroom, some decades ago, that room, what was the sheriff's office, now court services, was I think a lounge where the wives would wait with the kids while the husbands did the business in the courthouse, and they had a bathroom for that purpose. And then it became the sheriff's office and they stopped using the bathroom. That makes me think there must be some issue with the plumbing that they stopped using. Why would you get rid of a bathroom when you got it? So I would expect that there's probably issues with plumbing. You're right, though, it's near plumbing. It could be fixed. Hopefully that close to it, but I think that's some history of that. But it, you know, I'm confident you're going back into the 60s before you find that bathroom is functional, maybe even earlier.
And that will be the first thing that we'll have Scott look at, because that is key. The nurse's office has to have a bathroom. They have to have a sink. So. So he can't start quick enough.
And what's his start date?
February 14th.
Yeah, his 11th is his
Nice.
last day out at SESDEC. We had a meeting last night at SESDEC and I was prepared to catch Static, but nothing was said about it. She just said that the person who was Scott's assistant was moving up to, and I didn't say anything. I thought it was better off to play quiet.
Does anybody have anything else? No other executive session? We're good? Okay.
I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call.
Hammond,
Yes.
Manning,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Packard,
Yes.
Mochler.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Says that maybe. I didn't quite get what she said, and maybe it's only dealing with